Yongdae up against Mohamed Hassan and Bonaseptono of Indonesia. So still some very mouth-watering prospects to come. Matchups in this Li Ning BWF World Super Series Finals here in Luzhou in China. And the two players who will be coming on for the next match, a glimpse into the future, I think, of women's singles, with two very, very talented youngsters in the form of B-Saina Nehwal and Sayaka Sato of Japan, led out by B-Saina Nehwal. This is actually a repeat of the World Junior Championships in 2008. Now, as far as these finals are concerned, this is a Group B match. B-Saina Nehwal is the 3-4 seed for the Super Series finals, because
black or green?
the number 3 ranked player in the world, well, on the Super Series list, not able to be here, Wang Shoshian, because only 2 players per country permitted into the Super Series finals. B-Saina Nehwal lives and trains in Hyderabad. A 21-year-old, Super Series ranking of 5, having played 11 events, just missed the Malaysia event, and that's because she missed these Super Series finals of 2010 due to an ankle injury. But the left-hander, Sayaka Sato, just 20 years of age, number 7 on the Super Series ranking list. All 12 tournaments she's supported, 12 of 24 individual tournaments she's played this year. For B-Saina Nehwal, has been as high as number 2 on the world rankings, but down at number 4 at the moment. Coached by Pilela Gopichand, Commonwealth Games gold medalist. B-Saina Nehwal, in fact, was the number 2 seed at the World Championships last year in Paris, lost in the quarter-final. David Craig from Scotland and Greg Vellacott from Australia are two match officials. Well, obviously both of these players played yesterday. Sato played against Wang Xin and didn't even reach double figures in either game. Lost in double quick time, 21-7, 21-9 in 26 minutes. Whereas B-Saina Nehwal had a real battle against another left-hander, Bei Youngju. Came through in an hour and 4 minutes, 21-14 in the deciding game.
Sayaka Sato, Japan. And on my left, B-Saina Nehwal, India. B-Saina Nehwal will serve. Level. Play.
Now this is the third meeting between these two players, in senior badminton that is, whilst they've played against each other in the World Junior Championships. That doesn't count towards world rankings or head-to-head statistics. And of the previous 2 encounters, they've each won 1 of them. Again, slightly unusual, the fact that we have here in Group B, 3 of the 4 players are left-handers. That is unusual, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Service over. 1-all.
Well, I don't know whether you were... There's Pilela Gopichand. I don't know if you were able to get a glimpse of B-Saina Nehwal's match yesterday against Bae-Young-ju, but an hour and 4 minutes suggests that it was a very, very tough encounter. And whilst obviously you and I had concerns about the form of Sato in her match against OSIM, she looked mentally tired, I think, more than anything, having played so many tournaments this year. I'm just wondering if, in fact, really the physicality of B-Saina's match yesterday will have a detrimental effect today.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't think so. I would think she'll be very, very pleased with the victory. It's a player who's posed a lot of problems to her in the past. Bae, awkward game, counter-attack type game. She's had a lot of problems with her this year when she's played her. So I think she'll actually be on a bit of a high having won that. She knows if she can win today, she'll be through to the semis. So I think she'll be in quite a positive frame of mind for this match.
Yeah.
Whereas Sato really did struggle yesterday, you have to say. Didn't look in any sort of form.
Yes, we had quite a long discussion yesterday about Sato and about her tournament programme and the development of younger players when they don't have so many excellent sparring partners as the Chinese women's singles players do. Obviously in the training camp there's so many good Chinese women's singles players, and so therefore players from other countries have to go out and play more tournaments. But you know, I think it's been an interesting development as well with B-Saina Nehwal, because of course 2 years ago she won her first Super Series title, the Indonesian Open, then retained it a year after that. In fact, had a great run of 3 tournaments back to back, and 2 of those being Super Series tournaments. And this year struggled more in that I think other players have really taken her very seriously. They've been watching her style of play, they've worked out where her strengths, where her weaknesses are, and I have to say it's a shame to read some of the stories in the Indian media about, well, not being too harsh on B-Saina Nehwal, but being rather negative, sort of saying she's half a pace slower than she was a year ago and she's really got to prove herself again. I always think with the player's development there's a real sort of steep learning curve where there's a dramatic improvement and then there's a time of consolidation.
Yeah, I think this year's been a bit special for her actually, because she had a great year in 2010, really hit the highs, played really well, and then just at the end of 2010, beginning of 2011, she had that ankle injury and she missed a couple of events, and I had the feeling, and I think we spoke about it at the time, that she came back a little bit early. Her movement wasn't good and she lost to opponents who she'd been beaten in 2010, and I think it really affected her confidence, and I think it's taken her a long time to get back and recover from that. And it's not necessarily the injury, but the sort of loss of confidence of coming back a little bit too early, losing some matches, her movement wasn't great. I think it's taken a long time to recover from that.
Yes, a sort of psychological scarring from feeling under pressure to play the Super Series events when not 100% fit.
Yeah, she definitely came back too early. She wasn't confident, she wasn't moving 100% as we know she could. Yeah, straight down the line, good call. And she's had a patchy season. She's had some really good tournaments, but she's had some strange results. You'd also say when she got to world number 2, she had some one or two tough draws as well when she was coming back from the injury. She drew high-class Chinese opponents in first and second rounds, and where on paper it looked a bad result for a second seed to be losing, you know, these were players that were not easy to beat for her.
But the message is that the fans in India should not panic. She's a class player and she hasn't lost that talent or class overnight. She's had an injury problem. She maybe psychologically had a bit of a dent, but keeps supporting.
Yeah, and from one or two of the interviews around the time, seemed to have the feeling that she'd never had an injury.
Mm.
She'd played injury-free through her junior career, and I think it was a little bit different for her. And you need to learn how to deal with these things and learn to be patient with the comeback and everything, and know your own body.
Yeah.
Understand, how your own body and your own mind works, and when you're ready to come back. All part of the learning process.
Oh, good net shot.
7, 8.
Oh, goodness gracious, what
Service
on
over.
earth happened there?
9, 7.
Completely changed her mind, surely.
Very strange. Completely distracted. Maybe there's just something drifted down from the ceiling, distracted it. She certainly looked straight up afterwards.
Service over. 8, 9.
And suspiciously at that shuttle, that's for sure.
Ah, that's nice.
Service over.
That's a good angle.
8.
Nice touch there. Forced to take the shuttle from very low down, but lovely control. Here we'll see it. Get a good angle of it there. To the top of the tape. Nice touch.
Of course, the other learning curve, I suppose, you've already talked about learning to deal with injuries and coming back and knowing your own body, but I suppose also for Sayaka Nehwal to reach the status of world number 2 at such a young age, to command such interest in her home country, you've also got to learn with the burden, to deal with the burden of expectation, because all of a sudden the media are talking about you, everybody's expecting you to produce outstanding results week in, week out, and that's just not humanly possible. I mean, it's quite natural to have highs and lows throughout the season, and I think learning to deal with that burden of expectation is something else that takes time.
It is, but I think no one's more impatient than Sayaka herself. She puts a lot of pressure on herself, I think. She's desperate to achieve, she's desperate to win things. And, I don't think she's the finished article yet.
Oh, definitely not.
We saw it there a little bit. For me, it's a big smash or it's a slow drop. The cuts are not there yet. The subtle changes in variation of pace. She's got 100% smash or it's a 50% pace sort of drop shot, and she needs the 60%, the 70%, more variety on the attacking shots, more change of pace, better angles. These are things that will come.
9, 12.
Yeah, she was only 21 years of age.
And she's been number 1 in India for a long time already, so
Yeah.
Her sparring opportunities at home are limited. She's very much on her own, although there's a very talented young player coming through behind her, you'd have to say. India's got a great crop of young players coming through, both male and female at the moment.
Yeah, Sindar, I think, the 16-year-old women's singles player.
Looks very good.
But also, Ian, I mean, we ought to make mention of the fact that the Japanese nationals last week finished on Sunday, and a 16-year-old, 16 years, 4 months, won the women's singles title. Well, that's absolutely extraordinary. She didn't actually play the final because Hiroshi was not well, but it is still extraordinary that a 16-year-old has won the Japanese nationals.
Well, there's a fantastic crop of young girls coming through at the moment, you'd have to say. Thailand's got a great Great group coming through. Taiwan, Japan. There's some real talent coming through at the moment on the female side.
12-all.
It's interesting, isn't it? If you took the average age of the ladies singles Super Series at the moment and the men's,
Yes,
there's a huge difference.
absolutely.
A lot of teenagers breaking through on the girls' scene at the moment, really at world-class level.
13-12.
Yes, and yet we were talking yesterday about the men's singles and the longevity of, well, 4 players that have remained at the top of world badminton for almost a decade. Lindan, Lee Chong-wei, Peter Gader, Taufik Hidayat.
12.
Of course, there's a few more coming into the mix now with the likes of Chen Long.
Yeah, Chen Long would be the obvious one. He's the younger player that has broken through. But after that, it's been older players that have been moving up the rankings, really. Sho Sasaki,
Yeah,
Tian Min from Vietnam. These are not young players, but they've gradually improved over the years. Broken through into the top 10 this year. As for the really young players, they're not around at Super Series level at the moment on the men's side. Victor Axelson's probably the youngest that has played Super Series this year, I would think. Former World Junior Champion.
Service over. 15-14.
Neither player really able to dominate this game at the moment.
oof,
16.
desperate.
Nearly stopped, didn't it? The
Yeah.
drift nearly stopped that. Started off, it was going a long way out. The wind really held it up.
Now, David Craig, the umpire, allowing Sato towel down. That's nice.
Well, I think if Shas now, having won the point, he'd probably let her.
16.
But of course, having broken that run of points, shows that really it was just a tactical thing. She wanted to break the game up. If she was that desperate, she'd have asked again.
So just to explain that a little bit further, the protocol, whilst it's not a rule, is that if you ask to towel down and you're the receiver, it's perceived as...
Yeah, I mean, Saina had won 4 consecutive points. She was on a roll. And Sato, I think the umpire decided that Sato was just trying to break the game up, trying to break the rhythm of her opponent, so he made her play on. I think if she'd have asked after she'd won the point and broken that run of points, he would have probably said yes.
Overdone it.
Service over.
Well, string's gone in the racket of Saina Nehwal.
Well, that'll frustrate Sato even more when she sees this. Clear would have probably done with broken strings.
Yeah, look of anguish.
change of direction. Sato was in control for most of that rally, getting in early, forcing Sayaka to use the high lift. Nice change of direction, forcing Sato off balance. Change of direction, isn't it, that poses the problem. Cross defence at the moment is very effective here for Sayaka.
Yeah.
19, 16.
Well, it was that run, I think, of 6 points from 8-12 down to 14-12 that really changed the momentum of this. Sayaka now just 2 points away from this opening game. Make that 1 point away.
16.
12 and 15 points. Yeah, the opening game coming from behind. And as confirmed by the umpire, takes the opening game 21-16 in 17 minutes of play.
And again, it was the quick change of direction that caused the problem. Sato struggling a little bit, just to sort of position her feet in the to get a good push off to change direction. She's actually moving when Sayaka's hitting the shuttle, and that makes it more difficult to change direction. You really need to be just pausing and getting into a solid base position when your opponent strikes the shuttle. But Sato's actually moving a lot of the time when Sayaka's hitting, and that's making it difficult for her to change direction. Coach talking very much about options from the front of the court. When she's got in, she's shown good touch around the front of the court. So maybe needs to mix it up a little bit with 1-2 quick pushes to the rear court.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds. Second game. Lover. Play.
That's nice.
Yeah, nice touch, just held it, fixed her opponent. Just changed the direction. The key was taking the shuttle early.
my goodness, great net shot from the left-hander. My goodness, every inch of the court was explored in that rally.
Yeah, you had the feeling Saina was always in control of the rally right to the end. Saina found a nice rhythm at the end of that first game. Sato was certainly having to work extremely hard throughout the whole of that rally. Saina showing good precision, as you say, using every inch of the court. Sato did well, stuck in there and eventually got a chance to take it early at the net and found a lovely net roll.
Indecision at the back of the court as to whether to play the shuttle or not.
Yeah, definitely hesitated there.
Oh, that's lovely. Finds the line. Sato wasn't convinced.
Yeah, we're quite well placed down that line. Certainly looked in from here. So it actually skidded on the line. And that's gone with the drift. Drift still very much left to right as we look at the court. Quite a strong current of air down the hall. That is nice variety, using the centre of the court. First time she's done that. Mixing her attack up a little bit.
Service over.
And that's come back in.
Yeah, that's the drift again. We actually had a good view of that, didn't we? Could see the shuttle coming back. Started it outside the court, drifted it back in.
Missed it.
4-all.
Were you a note taker?
Yes, I was. Yeah. And I've still got them all.
Is that right?
Yeah, don't like throwing coaching notes away.
Service over.
Just seemed to run out of ideas at the back of the court there. Sayaka Sato.
Good pressure, good movement. Moving quickly backwards on that diagonal. Getting behind the shuttle really well. Getting into a good, powerful position.
Short. Oh my goodness, she should have put that away.
It's a strange shot.
Well, she had to play an extra 5 or 6 shots there, didn't she?
Yep. Yep. 2 or 3 shots later, she smashed from about 3 metres further back in the court. Sato all off balance there.
Oh my goodness. She seemed a little bit hesitant for a start as to whether the shuttle was going to come over. Hopefully we'll see that again, but my goodness, she played a magnificent shot to the back of the court. Oh yes.
That's a big fault.
It's a massive fault.
I'm not even sure the shuttle was going over.
Well, I thought in the previous match that the umpire made an incorrect decision. That was absolutely spot on.
Yeah, that was an easy one for him.
9-4.
Yeah.
This is a run of 5 straight points, and it's pressure at exactly the right moment, isn't it?
Yeah, Saina looks as though she's refound a little bit of confidence. I think that win last night will have done her a lot of good. It's an opponent she's had problems with in the past. And here, when she needed to up the tempo in the first game, she was able to do it. She was able to pull away at the right moment. In this second game, she looks well in control at the moment. It's Sato that's having to do all the hard work at the moment.
Four.
4 to 10-4.
Again, it's that quick change of direction, lateral change of direction, that's really causing problems for Sato's footwork. She's not getting a very good base position. Here again, we see she's moving when Saina actually hits the shuttle, which means she's not positioned ready to move either left or right. She's favouring one leg. And that makes the change of direction very difficult.
He's a very quiet, softly spoken man, is Puleda Gopachan, which makes it a little bit difficult for us to hear what he's saying to his player. We'll have to give him instructions to speak up next time.
Yeah, well, they need to get the microphone a bit closer.
Play.
On a run of 7 straight points. Sato needs to break that run as quickly as possible. That's nice.
4.
Control, but Sato off balance in the rear court. Cross clears dangerous, opened up her own court. Saina took full advantage. Nice angle though.
5-12.
It's one of the favourites, that forehand cross drop. Nice disguise, sets up straight, cuts across the shuttle and brings it down across the court.
It'll take a monumental effort though from the Japanese youngster. And they're just emphasising your point here.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah, she's not really in position to push off, is she?
No, can't change direction. Sets off on the move, and if it's in the wrong direction, it's a big problem.
Service over. 6-13. Seven, 13. Sayaka. Let the line judge call.
Umpire just warning Sato not to try and influence the line judges.
Eight, 13. Service over.
And again, all off balance.
14. 8.
Planted the foot. Really get the racket to the shuttle. See, weight was moving forward as she hit. She wasn't in a solid position. Sato beginning to look a little bit tired. She's had to do a lot of running in this game. Certainly a tired shot. She intercepted the shuttle very high in the court, but just couldn't control her movement. Off balance.
Oh, that's lovely. Great angle.
Quick push to the rear court, forcing her opponent to take it late, and then using the space across the court. It's that quick change of direction again, very effective.
Play. Service over. 9-16.
Oh, that's nice.
Service over. 17-9.
Yeah, just cuts this one down shorter than the first one, same direction. And again, the footwork of Sato. All awry, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's nice. 3 points away then from securing her place in the semi-final. There's still one match in the group to go.
Service over. 10-18.
It's gone with the drift
11-18.
again. I'm sure Gopi asking her to just concentrate, keep the pressure on.
Service over. 19-11.
Just doing a little mathematical calculation here, and I'm not sure I was right on that. If the other two players in the group, of course, Wang Sin has played one match so far and won one. Bae Young-ju played one, lost one, but if Bae Young-ju was to beat Wang Sin,
20. Match
and then if
point. 11.
Nehwal was to lose to Wang Sin, and Bae Young-ju was to beat Sato, then it'd be very, very complicated. I think we need to get the calculators out.
Yeah, you started to lose me a little bit there, but the key to all of that, I think, will be that Saina beat Bae. So even if Bae gets up to 2 wins, it would be the head-to-head.
Yeah.
12-20.
Put Saina through, so I'm sure there maybe is a mathematical way that she can't qualify, but in reality, I think she can safely say she's through.
So I probably should have just kept quiet and gone with my instinct.
No, I enjoyed listening to it.
Oh, no.
13-20.
Yeah, there's still another 7 match point opportunities.
both players there. Great net exchange. And that's it.
Yeah. Well, really dominated the second game, did Saina Nehwal. 21-13. I have to say that Sayaka Sato
21-16, 21-13.
looking very tired by the end of the match. Awful lot of tournaments for her this year, an awful lot of travel, as you were pointing out yesterday. But it means that Saina Nehwal has now played 2 matches and won 2 matches with that victory over Sato. 21-16, 21-13 in 36 minutes.